Don't you be afraid.
Hey guys, welcome to the ANX Weekly Update, where we bring you the latest video game, anime, and movie news. I'm Unbiased Ann, and I'm here with Genesis. What's up, Genesis?
What's up?
It's just you and me today.
What? No, it says Terrence and Mike B right there.
Oh, well.
Right there on the screen.
I guess they're with us in spirit.
Maybe. I don't know where they're at. Hopefully they didn't get hit with the COVID, but who knows? But anyway, once they're here, so we're going to do a show.
All right.
All right, so before we get started, ANX Gamecast on all social media outlets. Make sure to follow AVersion TV. People need to make sure to follow and subscribe there. Hit the notification bell so they'll so they can get all of the updates.
Every time we release one.
Every time we release one, even if Mike B and Terrence is not here. So, you ready for round one?
Let's do it.
Round one.
A week off for ANX Gamecast.
Oh.
Usually this is where we would promote a recent podcast. We got like 110 podcasts out there, so I think we can take a week off. I think in the past we haven't really taken a week off unless something happened, or we just got way behind on schedule, or something. This one, I don't know what's happening, but I was like, whatever. Mike B's birthday, my birthday. There's another birthday coming up, but we're gonna work on that day, so it don't matter. So it's just like, yeah, we ain't recording no podcasts this week. It's all right.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Like I said, there's 110 more out there, so y'all can check those out this week. That's it.
All right.
Ready for round two?
Yeah, it was fast.
Round two.
All right. New games. What came out? Infinite Beyond the Mind. We got to start recording our reaction to these videos because it's getting crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Today it's just like a slew of just 8-bit games.
Yeah. Along
with 8-bit sounds, and it's really getting on my nerves.
I was going to say, that's everything we watched looked old.
So this one here, it reminds me of Bad Dudes, Data East. So all the old school players out there, they know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
I was going to say, it looked like a classic arcade game from like late 80s, early 90s, even the music.
Yeah. That's Bad Dudes.
Oh, okay.
But except with two girls instead of two dudes.
So it was cool in that aspect, but at the end of the day, I was kind of like, okay.
My thing is, I don't know who out there I don't know who's buying these games. I don't know who's playing them. I wish I would stop, because then the people who's making them, so they will stop. It needs to stop.
Somebody's playing them, because every time, I feel like every week when we do these, almost half of them are old.
I just feel like it's a situation where they don't have to have a whole lot of people playing it.
Yeah, because maybe it doesn't take a lot.
It's probably cheap to make.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, this particular game here, you gonna play it? You gonna try it?
No.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard no for me on this one. Because this one was super 8-bit, even with the music. They tried to make it super retro, and it's just like, nah, this ain't for me. Let's get to the next game. Lonely Mountains Downhill.
So there was something about this that kind of looked fun to me. It came across at first as like, this probably is pretty basic and not too hard, It didn't look basic to me. Well, I know. The more I thought about it, though, I was like, oh, this is probably like a car game, because you're going around the corners. You have to make sure you're doing which car games are hard. I mean, to me, it's like they look easy, but you have to kind of know exactly how much pressure to put on that turn.
So what stood out to me about this was the awful graphics of the person riding the bike.
It was basic.
And I was like, what's going on here? Because as you can see in the picture that's being displayed, the rest of the graphics, like, I'm not saying they were good, but they weren't that better. Bad.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, obviously y'all had the capabilities to do better graphics. Okay. So then I'm watching the trailer. Then all of a sudden they just start showing him crash and die seemingly in horrific fashion. And I'm just like, maybe that's why they made him look so unrealistic, because if it was more realistic, maybe they would have had to slap a T-14 or maybe even an M for mature on there.
Yeah, but it was funny because the blood was even like pixels.
Right, just big blocks of blood that came out of him. I purposely went back and watched the trailer again from the beginning, and it's rated E for everyone. So I was like, I don't remember. I don't play a lot of E for everyone games unless it's a sports game. I don't remember a bunch of games being E for everyone with blood in it.
Yeah.
So like I said, my theory is that they kept the bike rider unrealistic as possible to keep that E for everyone rating, because it does have blood and seemingly broken bones and necks. Yeah. So
it looked like it would be fun to play, but I feel like I would also get bored real quick.
Yeah. The mechanics of the game, it didn't show much of. Well, I couldn't get much of it of how it's actually played. At first, I was like, "Is this like?" I can't remember that there was another game with motorcycles that you didn't really have to maneuver the bike. You just had to perform the tricks and make sure you landed. So I don't know if it was something like that, where it's gonna go down the hill regardless. You just got to make sure your tires are flat on the ground. I don't know. You trying it out?
I don't know. I mean, the thing about trying stuff out is you still have to pay for it, right?
No, it just depends. I mean, I feel like last week's episode, like 85% of those games are on Xbox Game Pass. So.
Oh well, yeah. If we have it, then I would try it.
Okay. It's gonna be a no for me. Sorry.
You don't even want to try?
I don't even want to try. I'm good.
Okay.
Let's get to the next game. Void Bastards. I don't know what to say about this game. Let me put it this way. The graphics, I like the graphics. I like the style of the graphics. It was consistent all the way through, and everything looked great. The gameplay looked bad.
Yeah.
It's a first person shooter, but it was real glitchy. It was almost like moving like clip art images across the screen, which is strange because the graphics look so good. So I guess they had to choose more fluid motions or better graphics. So I guess they chose the better graphics.
Well, and I think this is the one where I'm watching it and they're acting like there's a story here. But when you watch the gameplay, I'm like, this is, again, it's old. And I'm just kind of like, I don't understand how you can have a story out of this. Not from the gameplay I saw.
Yeah, because it started off like, oh, there's a story here, and then they just went right with it.
Yeah, I was just like it just doesn't seem like there's a story. It seems like you're trying to tell a story on the trailer, but if you were playing the game, it doesn't seem like it. Yeah. It doesn't seem like you would really get that.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know the menus look super detailed, so the items are probably super detailed. So I'm wondering if you spend more time looting stuff, picking up stuff, and spending more time in those menus than you do actually running around killing folks, which doesn't sound like a fun game, even though I felt like that's what I did most of the time when I played Champions of No Wrath or Champions Return to Arms. I would fight a little bit and then spend most of my time in the menus trying to upgrade my armor, weapons, attach rune stones, whatever. That might have been the other game. I'm getting them mixed up, but they were essentially the same thing. Anyway, if that's the case, then okay, but this trailer didn't do enough for me to want to play it. What about you?
No, not at all.
No? All right, let's move on to the next game. SuperMash. Right off the bat, I was mad because I didn't see any mash. There were no potatoes, no French fries. There's nothing like that. So I was mad right off the bat.
You're expecting food? Something.
SuperMash. This game is another 8-bit game. They put a little more effort into it, and there's a lot of creativity in the game. So I'm not going to be as hard on this game as I was on the other 8-bit games. But the premise of this game is basically they're going to take a fake Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo.
Yeah.
And they're going to take a fake Zelda. And instead of you playing the fake Mario and the fake Zelda, you take your Zelda character and put it in the Mario game and play Mario with the Zelda character. Same thing, there was some kind of dungeon crawler game, right? And instead of you doing the shoot 'em up 1944 old Capcom game where you use the airplane and shoot up everything, your airplane is actually in the dungeon and you're moving around like you're going through a dungeon, but you're in your airplane. So any of the monsters that come up, you're shooting them in your ship.
So the premise really is, right, you get to combine two genres.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's not really, I don't feel like it's,
or is it
like,
just game?
Like, yes, they try to make it seem like you can combine genres, but basically you're taking your character and the way that it fights the battle system and inputting it to another game.
Okay.
So you're not really doing genres, but kind of. And I guess the other thing they were trying to sell you on is you can make your own game and share it with your friends and they can play the game that you kind of created. And I guess the game as you play it normally and progress one player, every time you get to the next stage, it will randomly match two of these old school 8-bit games together. So that's whatever comes, that's what you have to play. So there's this Frogger looking character. So you go around playing like a bad dudes looking, again, with the bad dudes. Shout out to Data East.
Shout out.
You play like a bad dudes kind of game, but with the Frogger character. So I don't know. Again, it's super creative. It's different. Like if you're going to do an 8-bit game.
It's unique. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going to do an 8-bit game remake or whatever, do it like this. Well, with that said,
I thought it was cool. I mean, I thought it was a really creative idea. And of course, anytime I see Super Mario, I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, I don't know how they got away with it. It wasn't Super Mario, but you can tell that's what they were trying to rip off. It wasn't Final Fantasy, but you can tell that's what it was trying to rip off. So, hey, like I said, if you're going to do it this way, get creative with it, do something different. Because all this other stuff is not for me. Ready for the next game?
Yeah.
Tonight, We Riot. So I was looking at this, especially with this picture. I was like, okay. And then the freaking trailer came on and it was some more 8-bit crap.
I know. I was like, every single game.
Except this looked bad. Like these graphics were horrible.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. I'm not going to sit here and say that I struggled through the 8-bit era. I didn't know any better. It was great at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be like, oh, those days were horrible. I'm not going to be that person. But what I will say is while I was playing those 8-bit games, we always said, oh, it would be cool if we could X, Y, and Z. Jump here or be able to jump at all or be able to turn around or be able to do a 3D image or be able to see the whole city or whatever. Guess what? We can do that now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to go back and kind of do this again. Like I don't want to. So maybe it's something again for the kids who were born in 2000.
Yeah, maybe.
And you know their first system was like a PS2.
It could be. I mean, I'm thinking about it. That may be what's going on because they didn't have to struggle through this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like new to them.
Yeah, like new and it's like nah. Like this is like I said, whoever's buying this, stop
it.
Stop buying it so they can stop making it. So, you know, I don't know. What'd you think of the trailer?
I thought it was not good. The story in general, I think this one also was one where they were trying to tell a story, like before they move forward, they have to get rid of the past, or I forget what it was saying, but it was making it sound like it was all dramatic. Mm-hmm. You know, like there's this dramatic storyline, but at the same time, you're watching these 8-bit graphics, gameplay, and so it's like I'm not.
And they started off with some like modern day stuff, right? Because they saw the one dude seemingly driving like two drunk people. Like, I guess he was an Uber driver.
Oh, yeah. He was throwing up.
And then the dude threw up on him and in the car. So he looked kind of mad. So tonight we riot. Yeah, okay. All right, bro.
Yeah. I think it was a reach.
Yeah. So this is going to be a hard no for me.
Yeah. Same.
Next game. John Wick Hex. I've said this on the podcast multiple times. I've never seen John Wick. I think we watched 15, 20 minutes of one like some months back.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't figure out why the whole screen was blue the whole time. Like the hue of the shot was blue.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on.
Forgot about
all
that.
These people are speaking Russian or speaking all these different languages or something. I was like, okay, whatever.
When it was it the one with Keanu and he had the dog and they were at the gas station? Okay.
Yeah, something about a dog in a gas station and like an old like muscle car or something.
Yeah, I remember.
This game here, it was strange to me. The graphics weren't bad. They were cell shaded graphics, but here's the problem with what happened here. Usually when you see cell shaded graphics, it's a game that looks like anime style. People call it anime style. Oh, it looks like anime, right? There's no John Wick anime. And even if there's an animated series for John Wick, it's not made by Japanese people more than likely. It's probably American made animation. So you got American made animation that is cell shaded.
Yeah.
So that was just like different. And I'm like, this isn't working for me.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, this looks like a cartoon, and it starts off like it's like there's something going on. They're in the club or so. I don't know. I was kind of confused because I've never seen John Wick either. But then the game footage looked aerial view, super basic, like
yeah. Once they finally, 95% of the trailer had nothing to like, no gameplay.
Yeah.
And then when they finally did show some gameplay, oh man, it looks super basic. So once you got into the gameplay, if you want to go back and look at the downhill bike riding man, that's what it looked like.
Right.
It looked like a bunch of those people running around fighting and trying to shoot and kick each other. Whoa.
Excuse me.
Whoa.
So,
What?
yeah, it seemed like almost, I think if maybe all of the trailers we watched were either like super old school 8-bit or they were what I consider super basic graphics. Like I know cell shaded is usually for anime, but from a game perspective, that seems like what I consider basic. And that's what this looked like to me. It may not be basic. It's just when I'm used to seeing a lot of the games that you play, like Final Fantasy, Call of Duty, all sorts of stuff. That stuff looks just way more advanced.
And I think I heard of them making another John Wick movie.
Probably.
I get it. Like I get this more than I get some of those other random Tonight We Riot stuff, right? I get this because John Wick is so popular. There might be another movie coming out, whatever. So it's just like, okay, that's cool. I get it from that perspective. But other than that, it's going to be a hard no for me. Mm-mm. You ready for the next round?
Yeah.
Round 3.
Round 3. We got some news. Go ahead.
This is not mine.
That's not yours? Yeah, it's not Animal Crossing. So
now you got me doubting myself. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's not Animal Crossing, so it's not yours. This video is temporarily unavailable.
What is that?
What is going on here? So apparently somebody, and I should have his name, so that's my bad, especially with how I'm going to proceed with the story, made a Super Mario 64 4K PC port. Okay. So you can play Super Mario 64 on your PC with like 4K rendering and 4K upgrade. Okay, cool. Well, Nintendo didn't like that, of course. So they filed copyright, blah, 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 stop that, and can't put this out anymore. So everywhere that there's a file sharing site, they're going after those sites to take this down. Even YouTube, if there's any videos or clips of somebody playing this 4K game, you got to take those down too.
Yep.
So if you actually Google Super Mario 64 4K PC port, and go to videos, you might see a bunch that say this video is temporarily unavailable. The reason I'm bringing this up is there's a couple of things here. First off, who cares? Who cares? Meaning, like, why is anyone trying to play an upgraded version of Super Mario 64 on their PC with an Xbox controller? However, who cares from the Nintendo perspective? Like, why do you care if anybody's playing Super Mario 64 on their PC with 4K graphics and an Xbox controller? I guess I just don't understand all these Raspberry Pis and all these people making all these ports. And here's my deal. If you have the know-how to do this, you have some sort of skills.
Yeah.
Some sort of computer skills, whatever, technical skills. And when it comes to that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. My thing is, I don't even know your name. Like, you had to have known Nintendo was going to come after you when you put this out. I don't know your name. I don't know what else you're doing. I would have used this 100% to launch something of my own campaign.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
We talked about this a lot with podcasts. Joe Budden podcast, shout out, kind of gets on my nerves. But anyway, I mean, he talked about it on his show. His podcast was just, hovering around 50,000 viewers or whatever, which most podcasters would take. But he couldn't grow anymore. And then he started beefing with Drake, and he beefed with Eminem, and all of a sudden now he's getting millions and millions of downloads a month. So it took something like that to propel. So my thing is, if you have this and you have this right now with all the focus being on you, what are you promoting?
Right.
Exactly. And this is going to be another PSA to all of our I say old because I haven't been on there in a while. Just don't tell nobody. The Instagram page, we saw people with tens of thousands of followers, and they had no website, they had no podcast, they had no YouTube, they had no Twitch, they had, and
nothing.
We couldn't figure out not what the point, but we couldn't figure out why they at least weren't trying to capitalize on their humongous following.
So do you happen to know, I'm sorry I keep yawning. Okay. Do you happen to know, I don't know you don't know this guy's name, but did you happen to see if he even had a Twitch or anything?
No. I mean, no, not an article.
You didn't care.
Yeah. Well, I would have cared. I would have cared more if that was the whole point of this. Like, it would have been in all the articles that I read. That would have been front and center if that was the whole point of it.
That's true.
It seems like the point was just to make a Super Mario 64 4K PC port. And it's just like, okay. I don't know. So what do you think about people doing that kind of stuff? They're taking licensed material, copyrighted material, and they're like remaking it. It's usually not illegal to do that kind of stuff for your own personal use. It used to be, now I'm not a lawyer, but it used to be legal to I could share it with you, but I couldn't sell it.
Yeah.
This guy didn't seem to be selling this. It's out there for free. So what do you think about stuff like that? I mean,
yeah, unless, I don't know, it's kind of a fine line, because if you say, okay, well, if it's just this like couple of people that are using this or viewing this, okay, it's not a big deal. But then when does it become, where do you draw the line of, okay, now there's like way too many people viewing like our stuff as though it's his stuff or whatever without permission. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on this one. Part of me thinks it's dumb. Like, just leave this alone. It's not that big of a deal. But I guess they probably have to take a stance of, this is a black and white issue. Like, there's no gray here.
Racial.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, generally speaking, we see this a lot. I'm gonna use Joe Budden again. I'm gonna use his podcast for an example. There are plenty of pages out there with Joe Budden content on it that's not from Joe Budden. But what it is like highlights of the show.
Yeah. Top
10 funniest Joe Budden moments, which I believe technically is legal because you're changing, right? Okay. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to pretend to know all of that, what you can and can't do with copyrighted material. However, I'm pretty sure if it was something super negative about Joe Budden, he would have his people go out and try to get that stuff removed.
For sure.
But the fact that it's something positive and it's like a top 10 and this is funny.
I'm gonna let that slide.
That's just free pub.
Yeah.
For your game. Nintendo doesn't need free pub, but at the same time, it's like, it is what it is. Like, I feel like Nintendo, when we talked about that when Animal Crossing, is behind on a lot of things. There's so many companies out there that would love for us, even us, to come on here and talk about their game, regardless if we bash it or not. because that's just yet more people who at least have heard of the game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's get to the question of the day. How about that? Do you think unlicensed ports should be allowed if it's free to play? If it is free to play. Like, again, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm down with you just stealing people's stuff. You know what I'm saying? And just acting, you know, just putting it out like it's yours and charging people for it. Nah. But if you make something and you're giving it out for free, do y'all think that should be allowed? Put your answers down in the comment section below. You ready for the next story?
Yes.
And the last story. We only got 2 stories today because we only got 2 people here. Shout out.
Shout out to us.
What in the world is it? This ain't Animal Crossing.
Okay. So I thought this was kind of cool. I came across this article that talked about the U.S. Army is using an MMO for training during the pandemic. So, and this actually is out of Fort Hood. Shout out to Texas.
Shout out.
So the Fort Hood soldiers, I guess they had some tanks that they were using. This one troop was using. They just came back from South Korea or something, and they had to send them in, and they were waiting for new ones. Well, in the middle of waiting for their new tanks to come, a pandemic hit, and Force Protection has them on hold. So they can't train or anything like that. So they're using this opportunity to play this game called War Thunder, which I had never heard of.
Yeah, I've never heard of this game.
And I looked it up, and it's a free game apparently, but it's PC. I think it said it was on Xbox, PlayStation, whatever.
Okay.
So anyway, they are using this game to simulate real life battles, basically, to practice, to do their training. So, because they have to be, they're not immune to the COVID-19 either. They have like 5,000 cases at least, and they have to be especially careful because they could take down a whole, what do you call it, troop, their whole little group, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought that was kind of cool. I had never, like I said, I'd never heard of War Thunder. I looked it up, and it said it was a vehicular combat multiplayer video game. And there's like 80 maps, there's 1,500 vehicles, there's like a ton of stuff. Oh, and I think now what's weird about it is like it simulates known battles from like World War II and the Cold War. So I don't know why. I have no idea why they would do that, but somebody's obviously making use of it.
Yeah. So I guess my only concern with this is just any kind of security risk. It's a PC game. You're probably connected to the internet in some kind of way.
Yeah.
The fact that our elections probably got hacked, I'm sure your computer can get hacked, and now you got the hackers with your whole tactical game plan on what you may or may not do if it was time to go to war with some tanks.
That is true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so
they could get hacked.
Yeah, so as far as training goes, I mean, we've talked about this and off the podcast, but generally we saw the one special about the doctors who practice their surgical skills by playing video games.
Oh yeah,
the hand-eye coordination and stuff with the Wii, the Wii controller, and now there are companies out there specifically making games for doctors to play to keep their right. Okay, so now this, I just don't. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it specifically.
And and maybe they're just doing this to keep them. Maybe I would think, I would hope that the military would be well aware that this stuff can be hacked. So I would hope they're taking proper precautions, added layer security, whatever they could do. But at the same time, it may be a matter of, let's keep these women and men, like, let's keep their brains going. We don't want to stop, because when you stop doing something that you need to stay on top of, it's very easy. It's like a use it or lose it thing, or not use it or lose it, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, use it or lose it.
Yeah. So it may just be something for them to keep their mind sharp and be thinking about reacting. And
well, depending on how well this was set up, I mean, I'm sure you can set up real scenarios that you would like to train on.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't know if this is anything like Call of Duty. I don't know if there's people running around shooting. I wasn't surprised when I saw this though, because I know the last time you were playing Call of Duty, not the Modern Warfare, but one before that, I remember saying like, this feels so real, because it had them in like Afghanistan or something. Mm-hmm. I mean, it felt very, very like this is what it seems like it would be like. And I remember asking a friend of mine, George, shout out to George.
Shout out.
Who was in the Army. I asked him, like, do people that were in the military like playing these games? Because I feel like this would bring up some PTSD for real. I mean, it seems so real to me. But he's like, no, they love it. Most people, they love these games.
Yeah. So like I said, with this one, I don't know if there's a lot of benefit to it. Because I guess here's my deal. If I'm playing a game and I know what the simulation is, I know what's happening, I don't get much real world training from that.
Yeah.
So it would have to be a situation where it's like you set up the enemy defenses, right? I don't know what that is. And now I'm going in with my troop, my group, we only got
platoon, whatever.
We only got 2 tanks in this situation.
Yeah.
Whatever the scenario is on our side, and then we got to get, and then we have an objective. We either got to go save this person, or we got to get out, or we got to destroy the enemies, whatever. So that I can see that where that can be helpful. Anything else, not so sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, maybe they're just doing it to keep their mind sharp. It's not like real practice. Mm-hmm. It's just like making sure your reactions are still there.
Or just decision making.
That's what I mean. Like, you know, how you're going to react to this situation.
Can't they just go get on the holodeck?
Oh my gosh. That would be so cool.
Mm-hmm. Go to Quarks.
That would be so cool. I want a holodeck for real. I want it to be the beach. Mm. Okay, we're getting off subject, but I'm just telling you, I think about it all the time. We got a
big old lake right there. We good. Brown lake water. I want to
walk into the holo suite or whatever and then feel like I'm for real on a beach.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, all right. That's it. This is how the show's supposed to go.
Yeah, we usually always go over.
So let me see if I can get to a specific screen here. Oh, Mike? Terrence? No?
You there?
Hello? All right. You ready to wrap up the show?
Let's do it.
Just remember, everything that we've talked about in today's episode, links down in the description below. Make sure to check them out.
That's it for this week's update. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we release new episodes. See you next week.
Don't you be afraid.